Welcome to the Garden of Edun. Dami be asking the questions for the answers that you want to hear. All you gotta do is sit back, grab a chair, or listen up while you clean and cook. Take a leaf from the creative's book. These gems open your mind and your heart. Okay, the show's gonna start. Cheese! Welcome back to the Garden of Edun podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Dami, and this is where ideas grow, helping creatives learn, develop, and improve on their journey towards mastery. I hope you like the new tagline that I've dropped in for you lot this week. Today, you know what? I don't even really know how to start to begin to describe the guest that we have today, but all I want to say is impact over numbers.
That's cool.
That's where I'm starting. Today I'm with a very special guest in Mr. Kenneth Erahon. Is that how I pronounce your surname?
That was good.
It's the Nigerian in me now. AKA Shocka. Welcome to the podcast, Shocka. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure, bro. It's a pleasure.
Just to give people a small indication of some of the things you're doing, as we're gonna get real deep over the course of the podcast, I'm sure. And I say small, exaggeratedly. Shocka is a musician, a rapper, a public speaker, including having a very profound TED Talk, which if you're watching or listening to this now, pause it, go check out the TED Talk and then come back here. And he's also a mental health advocate, and something that I really like seeing you embody recently is impact over numbers. And I know that's the title of your latest EP as well. So welcome to the podcast, man. How are you doing in life?
I'm good. I've been in a great place. I've been in a good place. Like, things are just coming together for me, man. And I know why. That's what makes it even more special, is that, like, you know, sometimes, like, when good things are happening to people, they don't understand why it's happening.
Yeah.
They're, like, kind of confused about it. Like, but, like, I actually know why. Like, I've been doing the work on myself. I've been doing the inner work. I've been praying more. I just know why. It just makes sense. So it's good to see that, like, everything's just coming together the way it is.
That's amazing to hear. You know what? I've actually got in my notes about the full circle nature of things, which I will get to. But I want to say, interesting fact about today is you're the first person that I've ever interviewed who has a Wikipedia page. So
I love being the first. I love that shit.
Mad milestone. Like, this is gonna go down in the history books on this podcast.
Yeah, and may you continue, bro. May you get more and more to the point you forget about this interview.
I hope not, but let's see what happens, man. Going to the full circle bit though. You actually inspired me to start spitting bars in the pandemic.
You joking?
Lie. I'm not even. You know what, bro? I'm not joking. So before the pandemic, I'd never spat a lyric in my life. Like, obviously, I had growing up in the ends, like heard people spit and doing that kind of thing. But I never felt the confidence to jump in myself. Anyway, I had a conversation with Xylon and another of my boys, and they'd been saying, "Oh, you just need to write and then edit it, and then it's just an iterative process." But I don't know, there was just a barrier for me. And then I think it must have been the first or second week of the lockdown, I must have seen one of the freestyles you did over Helicopter, the J Hus Helicopter.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why, but it just fired me up and made me go, yo, yeah, okay,
it's time.
It evoked something in me, and I wrote my first bars to that same instrumental, and then from there I've just been making music here and there.
I was gonna say, can I hear it? But I don't want to hear it a cappella. I would like to hear it on the instrumental too. So if you can send it to me after this, that would be sick. That would be a full circle.
Definitely. But that inspiration proper has changed my life, bro. So I want to say thank you, because
No, the pleasure.
discovering that art has been such a massive area of expression for me in a way that I never realized it would or could be. It's just something that over time I've felt how much of a difference it makes.
Yes,
being able
definitely.
to operate in that field and express myself in that field. So it's been a mad one. So yeah, just want to thank you for that too.
That's sick. I like that. That's what music's supposed to do. It's meant to move you. It's meant to move you. I've been moved before, so I know how you feel. I know exactly how you felt, and I'm happy I can do that for someone else.
Hey there, Garden of Edun podcast listeners. Sorry to interrupt this episode. I just wanted to say thank you for watching and listening. If you get value from this podcast, from the guests sharing their perspectives on their journeys, I would appreciate if you could share this with maybe 1 or 2 people that you know will get something out of it. If you like the podcast, please subscribe or follow it on whichever audio platform you're listening to it on. We've got more exciting content coming up with athletes, musicians, comedians, journalists, sharing their journeys towards mastery. And now back to the show.
That's what Kendrick Lamar did for me. When I heard Section 80, it moved me like completely into the direction I'm in now. Because as you said, as we spoke before it started recording, and you're talking about doing your history and what I've been doing, you know that I never sounded like this or looked like this. Do you know what I mean? I've come a long way. And one of the things that shifted me into this, like fully, I always had the intention that I wanted to, I posted, I don't know if you saw it, but I posted a freestyle I did 11 years ago on my story, like yesterday. Or was it yesterday, the day before yesterday? I found it on YouTube. And it was me on Logan Sama. It was me on Logan Sama rapping about Haiti. I think there was an earthquake in Haiti and like so much babies got killed, and I was rapping about it and I found it. And I was like, okay, so it's always been there. Do you know what I mean? I've always wanted to say more, but the timing just wasn't right. But Kendrick Lamar was one of the, Kendrick and J. Cole, but Kendrick was the one that sparked it off. When I heard Section 80, that moved me. I couldn't believe, because he was talking about being human. And I mean, I was in a group called Marvell, and actually let you know that that's a superhero theme. That I mean, I've always had that theme of like being a superhero, and do you know what I mean, and being anything but human. Do you know what I mean? And Kendrick and J. Cole embrace how beautiful it is to be human. They took, like, Kendrick calls his music human music, and I feel, and I feel like I fall under that category of human music. That's what I make now with like songs like Self Love and Single Mothers and Impact Over Numbers. That's like human music, and like before that, no one ever made me feel like it was dope to be a human being. I always felt like, nah, this is shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why do we get depressed? And why do people have to die? And why does this? But like, Kendrick changed my whole perspective, and it made me realize how amazing it is to like be human and be able to connect to someone else and move them in that way. And then, I don't know, fortunate for me, I found out that I've got that same gift, that I can use my voice in that same way. And then that's what started that whole journey. And then I made Kenneth is a King. That was my first EP that I made to like try out what it's like to make human music. Because I remember Kendrick said that he changed his name. His name wasn't Kendrick Lamar at first, it was K-Dot. He changed it to Kendrick Lamar because he realized that most of the legends gave people their name and started off with who they really was. He said Tupac, that was his actual name, not his stage name. And do you know what I mean? And he was saying like, what a beautiful way to start human music, by giving someone your real name and like your real stories. So I was like, I'm not changing my name from Shocka because that's already cemented. But let me let them in on what my government name is. So I called it Kenneth is a King, and that project had Be Yourself in there and Haven't Spoken to Dad and like all those songs. So yeah, and I've been on that path ever since, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's like you're opening more of a window into your life when you make those steps,
definitely.
right? And it's mad because you know what? This is gonna be a sick pod, bro. I love Kendrick. Like, he's my favorite of all time, personally.
Yeah.
And that To Pimp a Butterfly album for me was when I realized that he was in a
GOAT.
in a different plane. But Section 80, I mean, I remember there's that spoken word piece that he does with Absol, where essentially
that finished me.
that is something that if you guys haven't listened to that, go check out Section 80. There's a track with Absol, and it's essentially
it's called Soul's Outro. Is it called Absol's Outro? I think it's called Absol's Outro. There's ADHD on there. There's Rigor Mortis on there. There's Keisha's song on there. There's High Power on there, bro. The whole project was like a breath of fresh air, because it was like at that time, everything he was talking about, I was learning about it in books. I was reading up on learning about. So he was like the musical version of what I was learning in books. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And at that time, like, it was when social media was just getting more popular. And so I was connecting and hearing other people's stories, which I didn't know. When I was learning all these things, I just thought it was only me that knew this. I felt like I was the enlightened one. Like, oh, wow. I was the enlightened one, not knowing that there was like a whole people all around the world that was like waking up to this stuff too. So, you know what I mean? It's amazing to see. And that's the only difference between when I made this transition in 2011, 12 to 2021 now, is that like I go on TikTok and there's like a whole world of people talking about what I was going through in 2011. So that's amazing to let me know that I weren't going crazy. Well, I did lose my mind, but in a good way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I say I shedded my mind. Like, I shedded it to give birth to like a new way of thinking. So, yeah.
Literally, man, cocooned up and came out
a
butterfly.
That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Well, cocooned up and came out real butterfly shit.
Yeah. So that I wanted to dive a little bit further back, because I always find people's inspirations for just starting something, and especially for how long you've been in the game. It would be really interesting to hear about the beginnings, because, you know, they do have a massive impact on where life goes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I actually saw your documentary with Tea and Crumpets. So obviously you were taking us viewers on a tour of the estate you grew up on, Broadwater Farm. And for those people listening, Broadwater Farm is a very significant place in Black British history. Significant because of the riots that happened in the 80s due to police brutality. Not going to get too deep into it, but that obviously impacts the community that lives in the area and in and around the area, and how they grow up to perceive the world they're in and the world just outside them, and how they perceive them, and all these different contexts that create an environment that you're growing up in. And obviously it's mad now because there's a lot of people from the estate doing well. Obviously you have people like Heady One, Abra, Bando K, all the OFB, man. So for you growing up in Broadwater Farm, how influential was that on your experience becoming a musician in the first place? How did it impact or influence your creativity and you diving into music?
Everyone was spitting. Everyone was spitting when I was younger. Everyone was spitting. That was the thing. And that's where it all started from. It started from football training. I used to be heavily into football. Like I'm not even meant to be doing music right now. I'm meant to be at Old Trafford or like or like training, getting ready for the league. This is just backdoor what I'm doing now. But so at football training one day, my friend come in and he started spitting. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? What's that? And I just fell in love with it. And I went home and I tried my own. But prior to that, though, I saw Heartless Crew. There used to be something called a presentation. So Heartless Crew, I got to thank Bushkin as well in person. I bumped into him at like some party and I was like, bro, if you didn't pick up the microphone, I wouldn't be doing this. There was this thing called the presentation at football. Obviously, I told her I do football, and they had something called the presentation every year where they give out awards. And then at the end of it, they'll have a party and they'll call someone to perform. So they called Heartless Crew to perform.
Right.
And I remember
Your club got Heartless Crew. Man.
Yeah, they got Heartless, but they weren't that big though. They weren't that big.
Oh, at the time.
There was this bubbling because I spoke to, if you notice, did I keep that in the Tea and Crumpets thing? I don't know if I kept that in there, But I spoke to Classford. Class was the one that booked Heartless Crew. And he told me that one of the young people around him said, get Heartless Crew, like they're the new thing. So that's why he got them. But I was just a kid. So I remember trying to reach up to see them. And they was just killing it. I remember killing it. And I remember going home that day saying, I want to do that. Like whatever they was just doing to make everyone jump up and down like that, I want to do that. And then the journey began. I used to steal other people's lyrics and rap them. That's how I started. I was just thieving people's lyrics. I used to hear lyrics and just thief them. And then I'll be like, yo, Dami, listen to this bar that I wrote yesterday. And then I'll spit it to you and you'll go crazy. And then obviously one of my friends found out that it weren't my lyrics, but he was like, even though it's not your lyrics, you made them sound better than the person's actual lyric it was. Because when he ended up hearing the actual person say the lyric that I stole it from, he was like, nah, it don't give me the same feel that when Shocka said it. So he was like, you've got a thing. That means you've naturally got like a way of captivating people because like it's not even your lyric and you made it your own. So I took that on board what he said and I started writing my own lyrics. And then I've been on that journey from then. Since I wrote my own lyrics, I got the same reaction of mine. And then, we just went on a crazy journey. Then I ended up in a group called Chain Gang. That was the youngest. So remember back in the day, we used to have youngers and olders.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like back in the day, they're my olders and we're the younger version. Wretch 3-2 was in a group called Combination Camp. And we was the youngers called Chain Gang. So I've known Wretch forever, like way before the world knew him and way before he became the GOAT. He was the GOAT in my area. Like Wretch
Shout out Wretch, man. Shout out
Big up Wretch 3-2, man. He used to give out these CDs with like 15 tracks in them and they used to be like mind-blowing. It was almost off-putting. It put me off. I think I quit a couple times after hearing them. I thought,
because it was that good, you were like, nah, I'm not on it.
And I was like, you've got to make it. But we didn't know how he was going to make it because like, we didn't know how he was going to get out there. But we was like, he's so good that like, it would be a crime. It would be an injustice if like, he ended up in like Tesco's or like, no disrespect to Tesco's, but you know what I mean? Though, wouldn't it? Like, walking in there and seeing like, oh, he wasted the talent.
His talent's being misplaced. That's always really sad, isn't it?
And it worked out for him. So, I mean, there is justice in the world because he ended up being the number one artist, ended up being the GOAT, ended up being Rich 3-2, so it worked out.
For you, Shocka, did you always, like obviously you said that Heartless Crew inspired you. Did you from that moment decide, I'm going to be a musician and make it work regardless? Or was it more just, okay.
Yeah.
From that moment, it was like, that's my
From
lane.
that moment, it was that, I've been blessed to know what I want to do from like ages ago. I've been rapping forever. Everyone knows me for rapping in my area. Everybody calls me Shocka. I rarely hear the name Kenneth. When I do, I'm like, oh, where do you know me from to call me like? Cause like, you know what I mean? Like even when I got into the Zoom call thing and it said Kenneth Erahon, the host to let you in, and I saw my name there, I thought, oh shit, I like that. But obviously that's before I got to this point where like I put it out in the EP, Kenneth is a King. But I mean, prior to that, like I've always been known for spitting. I've been spitting forever. So I've always known that's what I wanted to do. The only thing is just how do I make a living out of it and like actually make it like a career. That's the second hardest part. But I've always known what I wanted to do.
Of course. Interesting on that actually, because obviously when you're making something like your lane and especially professionally, you basically always have to be on developing your skills and making sure that you're honing your craft. And obviously
definitely.
Watching some of the stuff that you've produced, you've clearly been doing that and working on like things like your flow, wordplay, delivery, which is elite, by the way. Like that fire in the booth, bro. Mad.
Which one? Because there's two. Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the one where the one where it's just
by myself.
And you're spitting over the Nas beat
one
and then
mic.
like other beats come in and then you're hitting the flow on the other beats. And I'm just like, yo, this is different, you know? This is different levels. What did you? I'm really interested because obviously I'm right at the beginning of the music journey.
Yeah.
So, and for people listening, they might be curious about things that they can do to improve on their skills. So, if there were, what specific things did you work on to hone your craft?
I think there's a quote that really helped me. Is it Tupac that said it or Michael Jackson? One of them, Tupac or Michael Jackson. If anyone knows, then correct me if I'm wrong. They said, study the greats so the greats ain't great to you anymore. And that always stuck with me. And that's all I did. I used to study the best. I used to study the best. And that just raised my, what's the word? It raised my expectations and everything. It just put me like, because when you start listening to them every day, listening to Nas's albums, Jay-Z's albums, Pac's albums, everyone's albums, you start thinking you're on that level in your mind, even though you're not. So every verse you write, you're right. So you're stretching yourself every time you write because you're trying to get on the level of what you're listening to. So it's stretching you. Do you know what I mean? So like, I used to imagine after I would write a verse, I would imagine me spitting it to Wretch. And then that will let me know if the verse is good or not. Because when I'm like, at that line, it's like, it's weird because it's like, I'm almost tapping into what he would think. And if I'm okay after imagining spitting it to him, I know the verse is good because like, he's not with me, but like, I felt like cool with myself. Like, this is good enough. Do you know what I mean? I feel like artists must have the most belief in themselves because we have to critique the lyric before we even say it to the world, which is a difficult thing. Do you know what I mean? Before you heard any of my verses, I heard it first. And I had to say to myself that this is good enough to go out there. Do you know what I mean? So, and that takes a lot of belief. And that's why people don't start, because people critique it so much that they don't even put it out there. So for you to even put it out there, that means you got to a certain point in your mind where you're like, this is good. And that says something because it's like, who told you it's good? How do you know it's good? And do you know what I mean? What, how do you know? Like what? So that means that's self-belief because that means you said, this is good. Like I can stop at this bar now. We're good now. But how do you know that? So that takes some sort of, there's an inner that you're working with to make you know like this is good. And you're constantly doing that. And that's why you've got to study the greats, for you to actually know what is good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's my advice, man. Study the greats so they're not great to you anymore. Like it got to a point, remember I told you, like I used to listen to Wretch's CD and want to quit. But then I did so much work on my craft, I started listening to the CD thinking, no, I'm ready. This is cool. I get this now. I understand. Oh, I get why. Do you know what I mean? Like study the greats.
How long did that take? How long would you say?
That was a good 10,000 hours. That was a good 10,000 hours.
Okay,
you have to put your 10,000 hours in. That was a good 10,000 hours. But like that 10,000 hours could be minimized if you're at it every day. You can stretch that 10,000 hours out if you're like practicing once a week or like, I was writing every day and every second and every minute. My, I got shipped to boarding school in Nigeria for 2 years and they used to always bust. Yeah, I got shipped to boarding school, bro.
How old were you talking?
Probably 15, 16, probably.
Oh, so like late teens?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like mid-late teens. Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure on the age. I'm bad at ages. If you notice on my interviews, I never say ages and shit. I'm bad. Like I'm bad at ages. But ages and dates I'm bad with. But my aunties, my cousins, and they used to laugh at me because like they said I was always muttering to myself. Always. They'll be like, you'll just be there, just talking, muttering to it. But they didn't know what it was, but they didn't know like I was rehearsing lyrics and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I used to like that. Music it was on my mind. You got to be obsessed. You got to be borderline obsessed, bro. If you want to be elite level, you got to be borderline obsessed, like obsessed to where it's taking over your life. If you want to be elite level, but if you just want to be good or an all right, then you can, write bars here and there. But if you want to be GOAT level, where like it's mind blowing when people hear you, like where like it's borderline disturbing when people hear you because they're like, how can someone be so good at something? Then you got to be like obsessed, and that's where I'm at now.
Tapped in fully.
You got to be tapped in. I'm at a point now where like I can walk into any room in any country and know that when I grab that microphone and say my verse, no pun intended, but people are going to be shocked by it. Do you know what I mean? Like you got to be, you got to be to come into this industry. You got to be You got to be exceptional, bro. You got to be at a point where you can't be denied, and that's possible. But that comes from love. If you love it so much, you're gonna get better because you love it, so you love improving, and you love like. But if you don't love it, then you're gonna get frustrated and start asking, "Oh, where's the rewards? Or when am I gonna get better?" I didn't even know I got better like that. It just happened one day. It just clicked. That me, like like Dragon Ball Z, where it just clicks in one day, and he just like Vegeta tips him over the edge, and he just goes into like Super Saiyan. That's like,
is that Gohan? When Gohan,
like Gohan or something, or something, yeah. That's how it reminds me of musically. Like one day it just tipped, and I was like, oh shit, I'm nice, bro. I'm ready. And then
like
I
you
went
listen back on a piece of work, and you're like, ooh,
and you're like,
I've bodied that differently.
Yes. And then I went from like listening to Wretch's CDs, being discouraged, to being on the Westwood freestyle with Wretch and Gets, side by side with him, rapping. And that's crazy because like what I said to you, I used to imagine rapping my verse to him. Now I'm really rapping my verse to him, and he's laughing along and like, bro, it's mind blowing, man. I've had so many, I'm blessed, bro. I've had so many of those like kind of full circle moments. I've had so many, and I'm blessed to have them.
That's mad, man. On Big Westwood as well. I actually haven't seen that freestyle, you know.
You ain't seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that freestyle, man.
You got to see it. When you got time, you got to see it.
Check it.
It's legendary.
Still.
Yeah.
Will do. It's interesting because my next question was actually gonna be on the point of inspiration to write music, but obviously you seem very inspired. I think I the way, because obviously being very new to even music as a thing, like there's so much, basically most of it I just don't know and I'm not aware of. And one of the things I always wonder is, because I'm just doing it mainly as a hobby right now, it's easy for me to pick it up and drop it, and I don't have as much, not necessarily attachment, but I've not yet said this is my thing. In the same way you said it. And I've always wondered, how difficult is it to stay inspired when that becomes the case? Because there's almost a pressure for, like you were saying, for feeling like, okay, I need to make a living from this now. So there's a pressure to make music. There's a pressure to make things good. But can you make things that are good, authentic, that resonate with that pressure, or does it make it more difficult to do that?
It does. It does, man. It does, bro. Like, I mean, bruv, every artist can vouch. Like, when you get to a certain age, I'm 33 now. So like, I've got to be looking at kids now and marriage, and not for me personally, like I'm good, like I can hold that some more. But I mean the pressures, we're talking about pressures, right? So you can understand my mum's looking for grandkids now. What's good, bro? My family in Nigeria is looking for grandkids. What's good, bro? Friends are whispering, like, yo, you're taking this music way too serious. We ain't seen you with a girl in a long time. So these are the pressures so I mean, these are the pressures that you start to face. And then financially, like you're at an age where like your friends want to go out now. Like, if not twice a week, they want to go out to eat. You know what I mean? They want to travel. Like you're of an age where traveling is a thing. They want to travel. You want to look fresh when you step out. It might not be crazy designer clothes, but you want to look good. Like all of this is stuff. There's just crazy pressures.
Yeah.
But what separates me from someone else that will probably give up when those pressures is the options. If you've got other options of like what you can do aside from music, you're going to drop it out because your mind's just going to say to you, bro, you're not making money from this. But for me, where I was lucky, I didn't see it as an advantage, but now I am. I never had options. I messed up in all my schools. I went to like 4 or 5 different schools, got kicked out of all of them. So music had to work. So that means, because music's my only option, I'm willing to stick in whatever, no matter what circumstance I'm in, I'm going to hang on and go through it because I've got no other option. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like someone else is going to be like, I can do my little IT course I've got, my little uni degree, I can go over there. Do you know what I mean? So you're not going to stick in with this. Whereas like I realized most of the people that made it had no options. They had to make it happen. Like Eminem had no options. We know his story already. Trailer Park, went into the battle rap thing, had to make it happen. 50 Cent, same thing, got shot 9 times, down on his luck, needed. So it helps when you've got no options. It does, because it tunnel visions you, and it makes your mind almost needs it because it gets creative.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like £5 and then like you found a way to buy like a sick meal with that £5? You got like 4 wings, chips, and you know what I mean? You made it work. Whereas like when you got bare money, like
just
yeah, man, you're lazy. Bro.
Yeah. You get too comfy. And you don't stretch. You don't stretch.
So when Will Smith said plan B distracts you from plan A, I understand what he means now. It does distract you because it's like, I don't really need to focus on plan A because I got plan B here. Whereas like when you've only got this, you're going to get so creative. I understand why I'm so good at this. I have to be this good. You know what I mean? Like I have to. I ain't got a choice. You know what I mean? Like my mind just clicks in and says, bro, you've got to get ill at this. Like, because this is what you're doing now. So
this is it.
This is it. So yeah, I get it.
That's. Do you think it's more or less impossible otherwise? Then
what's that with a plan B?
Yeah.
No. Of course not. Everyone's different. But I'm just saying, it's more likely when you have no options. It's not impossible. It depends how you are when you're tested. Everyone's different. I don't know how people are when they're tested. When the going gets really tough, it's like, are you going to quit on it? Are you going to stick in there? Or are you going to fall onto your plan B? That's what I'm saying. You don't know until you're tested. Like, I mean, I've been tested and I'm still at it. But I feel like if I had a plan B, I would have folded. I'm not going to lie to you. I probably would have folded.
Yeah.
That's how hard it gets. I might have folded. That's how hard it gets. It gets real hard. It gets real hard. Because what happens, this is how the plan B sucks you in. What happens, you say to yourself, okay, cool, I just want to do this plan B, yeah? I just want to do this plan B just to get some money in to fund the music. And then what happens is the music's not paying you money, but the plan B is, and you start saying to yourself, do you know what? I'm getting money from this. Like, I don't need to be wasting my time on this. And it sucks you in, but I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen so much times because this music thing is not going to pay straight away, but it will pay long term. That's the test. Whereas like when you get a job, you get paid every week. That's what you sign up for every month. Do you know what I mean? They can't not pay you. You can sue them like if you don't pay me a month late or whatever. Yeah. Whereas music, there's not a contract where you write that says it's going to pay you like every week until you get signed or until you, and that's why the social media age is completely different though. Completely different. I mean, I built a whole fan base from, you've seen how I'm using social media. I built a whole audience on social media, streams, shows. I mean, it's completely different to make money. But then you weren't signed to a label, you weren't eating. But now, there's probably some unknown influencer that's probably raking it in that we don't even know about.
I work in the influencer marketing industry, and let me tell you, some of the fees these men charge, like I don't want to be putting numbers, like big numbers out there, but some people are charging like I'm looking at some of these and I'm thinking, bro, your rent's paid for the next 6 months if we do this collab with you, basically. Like
it's a new day.
It's mad.
It's a new day. Yeah, it's a new day.
Very much so.
It's a new
but
day.
I hear that, you know, because I think two things. I had a podcast with someone called Mahogany. She lives in the States. She's an artist, so she does paintings and things like that. Shout out to her as well. She was saying that one of the things that helped her fully dive in to her creative, her making her creative work her full-time lane is she read something which talked about humans in the Western world, our addiction to the monthly, weekly, regular pay. Yeah. Like we're almost addicted in a way. If we feel like we can make it another way, but it's going to be more challenging, more sporadic, more random versus I know at least at the end of every week or the end of every month, I'm going to get my piece. It's going to cover this, that, and the other. All these bills, food, extra necessities, whatever it is. We've become so addicted to that lifestyle that the other one is very scary. Even you talking about it, I was like, shit, man. Just like, I'm just done and I'm not getting like,
scary.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's a lot.
It's terrifying.
But I think it comes back to something deeper, which I believe is the case. I mean, I guess I subscribe to it in a way, and we all do, but money is the biggest religion, man. So
yeah,
it can do that. It has the power to do that and to make you go, you know what? I have this dream. I have this passion. Yeah. And I know that this passion has dividends in there if I apply myself to it. But man, I'm making more here. Yeah. Like the money is king because I'm making that money here and now there. Yeah. So yeah.
And that's where purpose comes into it as well. And that's where impact over numbers comes into it. If I got that temptation before I found the philosophy of impact over numbers, I probably would have given in. Before I found my purpose in music, I would have given in. But now I found the purpose and I know what I'm using music for, to like help people heal and get through traumas and, do you know what I mean? All this stuff. Yeah, I can't be moved now. It's too late now for me to abandon it and like, because it's almost a sin for me to abandon it, knowing that how it can help. Whereas I would rather abandon it when I was ignorant and I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? I just, do you know what, music's not working, let me go. But now I know people need it. That's why I do every single Zoom call. Not every single Zoom call, but I do majority of them because I know I don't care how much listeners the person's got. I know there's one person that probably needed to hear what I've got to say. And that one person is, I mean, there's a quote in the Quran that says, if you save one person, it's like you saved the whole world. And if you kill one person, it's like you've killed the whole world. And that quote sticks with me because it's like, that means just saving one person in the human's eyes, it might not seem like a big thing. Like, well, there's billions of us, what's one person? But in the creator's eyes, because he probably knows how important we are, it means a lot. Like one person can spread a rumor to a whole community. Like it just takes me to talk to you, and then you talk to Xylon, and then Xylon talks, and that, do you know what I mean? That's gone all the way around. So that's the impact of that impacting one person. So yeah, man, it's too late for me now, man. I've already injected purpose into what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm on this mission. I'm committed. Like I'm full steam ahead.
Yeah, butterfly effect, man. It's a
huge
thing.
Yes.
Effect, man.
And that's what I want my legacy to be. Like I was saying this the other day, like someone asked me, what do you want your legacy to be? And I said, I want it to be like a big giant ripple effect of like everyone that I touched along the way. I want everyone to like, when I pass and leave this earth, I want everyone to have like a story about me. Like, yeah, I met him. Yeah, he did this. Yes. You know what I mean? I want everyone to have like little tiny ripple effects. Like even when DMX passed recently, like everyone was like bringing out these videos that we've never seen before. Do you know what I mean? Of him dancing in the street, or like when he walked into the shop to buy something. And do you know what I mean? Like all these ripple effects, and like that's a sick legacy to have. Like everyone's got a story, a positive story of how you affected them. So like most people don't think that way though. So they miss out on that opportunity of having that ripple effect because they're saying no to this and no to that, and no, there's no money in this and there's no money in that. But they're not thinking about like legacy, like later. So
yeah, man. That's what. I mean, numbers / money is a big religion, but at the end of the day, impact is real. Like it's real. That's
and it does equal up to money if you impact people in the right way. Because I know what it takes to get me to come and watch an artist live. You have to have moved me. There's no way I'm buying your ticket and then booking time off work and then getting new clothes and then asking a friend to come with me. That might be another ticket. And then, bro, you have to have moved me for me to come and see you live. To stream your song and comment on your picture, that's different. I don't even need to be a fan to do that. That takes no effort. But to like come to you. So when you see J. Cole doing an arena, that's impact, because like everyone dressed up and made time in their schedule to come and see you live. Do you know what I mean? Ticket sales mean the most to me. Ticket sales, merchandise, those numbers are real to me because like you can't fabricate that. There's no spam account that can say, yeah, I'm gonna get you 1,000 people. Do you know what I mean? There's no fake account that says I'm gonna get you 1,000 tickets to come to a show. No, these are real life human beings that's at the show. So it's like those are the only numbers I care about. Apart from that, I'm not really bothered. I'm not bothered. But like those are real numbers and you have to. So impact does make money if you impact people in the right way. does make money. But impact is everything. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, it's not even just about being appreciated when you're here. You never get appreciated when you're here. Jesus didn't even get appreciated when you're here. And he was like God in the flesh. And we still didn't like him. So for me, it's about, would you be missed when you're gone? Yeah. That's the new inspiration for me. Would you be missed when you're gone? If I deleted my Instagram page, how many people is going to find a way to contact me and be like, bro, where's your page gone? I look for it every day. Or would they not notice? Do you know what I mean? If your podcast disappeared, is someone going to say, Dami, bro, where's the episode, bro? What's going on? Or is it like, do you know what I mean? Or is it like 3 weeks go past and you're asking someone, you haven't even asked what's happened to my episode? Do you know what I mean? That's impact of when you're missed. And that's what I'm aiming for. I want to be missed. Like, if there was a way for us to do a GoFundMe to raise $1 trillion to bring Michael Jackson back from the dead, that money will be raised in an hour.
That money would
be raised. That money would be raised in an hour to bring him back. Whereas there's certain individuals that's come to this planet where people won't even raise £50. Not because they wasn't a good human or they wasn't a beautiful soul. It's got nothing to do with that. But they didn't move us. That's why you're meant to use your gift. Your gift is what is going to connect you to other human beings. That's the importance of it, is using your gift, because that's what connects you on a deeper level. And that's what makes you missed. That's what makes you miss, because they might not even miss me particularly. They might miss what I had to offer. You know what I mean? What I brought to the table. I don't know Tupac on an honest level. I don't know. He could have been a cunt. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, his gift that he used to move all of us is what we would like pay in the GoFundMe to bring back again. So like, that's what I want now. I want to be missed when I'm gone. I want to say, fucking hell, what would Shocka have said on this topic? Look how the world is now. What freestyle would he have said? I want people to be talking like that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's impact over numbers.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Cadet, actually. Rest in peace.
Yes. And that's why I did Dare Cadet on Impact Over. And I had to put him on there because he's like the embodiment of like everything that represents.
For real, man. Like when he, like you, I didn't know him. Did you have a relationship with him?
Like, I bumped into him a couple of times. I saw him in studio the week before he passed. He came in and said hello to everyone. It was like, yeah, bro. I mentioned it in Vent 3. I mentioned it in Vent 3, I think, yeah. At the end, I'm like, I saw you in the studio a week before you died. It was brief. You never know when you're gonna go. Like, so yeah, he came in the studio a week. Said hi to everyone. He said, yo, what's going on? Then he went in the other room to record, and then a week later. You know what I mean? So,
but I think based on seeing the response, that was impact. You might not have had the numbers, might not have had the gas in the same way as you might see elsewhere in the industry. But in terms of impact, that's another person that I listened to and really like resonated with his music, like on a deep level where I felt like I knew the brother, even though I didn't know him. I didn't know him, but I felt like I did.
Nah, he bared his soul in his music. Bared his soul. From everything he did, from the music to the interviews. I used to watch his Amaro Dons when he was talking about therapy and his relationship with his dad, and now he proper bared his soul. Yeah, he's the personification of impact over numbers. He is. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, bro. So, and that's what everyone should strive for, and that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to make people know that, like, there's nothing. I said impact over numbers. So that means I appreciate numbers, but just impact just a bit over. You know what I mean? And I wanted to tip that scale, because I think it was the other way around. People was appreciating numbers more than like impacting other human beings. Like, do you know what it takes to move someone, to make someone cry, or to make someone be like, ooh, let me write a lyrical? Like, that's special. That's a gift. Like, numbers is nothing. You can have a look at that. Have you seen that Asian woman that her song's going viral? That Indian woman or something? Have you been seeing that on the internet? There's some Indian woman in some country and she's singing on the microphone and like it's been going viral everywhere. I've not seen it, bro. I'm
gonna see it after this. I know
you're
my
gonna
TikTok,
see it, yeah.
My TikTok for you page is gonna show that shit to me tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. Yeah, there's some woman that's she's got a scarf on her head and she's been singing and it's gone viral. I mean, so we get stuff like that all the time. It's nothing to get like a hit song or like make us feel good for a moment, but like to really impact someone, to change someone's perspective, to move someone into action. That's a gift, bro. That can't be taken lightly. Anyone that's walking on this planet that's got that gift, you have to use it. It's almost a sin if you don't. It's more like, it's not a sin, obviously, but like in my mind, it's like a sin if you don't. Because like, yeah, you got to use it, man. It's an incredible gift. And Cadet had that. Like when I heard Slut, and it just made you. Do you know what I mean? Like it was powerful.
Even the I flipping forgot the name of it.
When his girl cheated on him.
Yeah, that one, where he's in the dark room,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
That one, like,
yeah,
that one is a mad one. That one
bro.
moved me different, and that moved me before. He passed. I actually I listened to it. It moved me, and then I ended up in a similar situation after it happened, and I was just like, "Yo, this tune is real."
Yeah. Definitely, bro. Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I really want to get back into Impact, because I think in the next parts or the next topics I'm going to cover, they're going to be very important. What I do want to talk about, because I think it would be quite interesting in the story of your career, is to talk about when you formed that group that you alluded to earlier, Marvell, with Vertex and Double S. Shout out Double S. I used to listen to a few of his rhythms on my
he's Double S is
brick
legendary.
phone. I know there was a verse he did on Chips.
What was it?
I Am Chipmunk mixtape, I think it was. There's like 5 of them on it. I can't remember, but there's him on it. There's Chip. There's Griminal.
Oh, Who Are You? Who Are You remix?
Yeah, Who Are You remix?
He was at the end. Was it cause Young Double? Hence the Grimesey's missing piece of the puzzle.
The puzzle,
yeah. He's legendary. Yeah, legendary. I talk to him every day. About film.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, every day about film. Every single day.
So you guys are like day ones, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
It would be interesting just to hear, because if I'm not mistaken, your group got signed, right?
Yeah,
your group got signed by a label. So just, we got signed, I guess, just
we got just signed in 2010. So we was killing it 2009. Marvell killing it. We got together in 2008. 2008. Yeah, everything went so quick for us. 2008, then 2009, killing it. Westwards, mixtapes, touring with Chipmunk, touring with Skepta, Diversity, get signed. Everyone's tipping us to be the next to go. BBC One Extra used to do these Hot for One Extra lists. They still do it. Hot for 2008, Hot for 2011. I've probably got Hot for 2021. And it's just all the names that they're predicting is going to be the next to blow. And we was on that list of Tiny Temper and Scorcher and Temper T and all these people. And bro, so it was tipping us to go. And then they're like, yo, you got to release a single. We didn't even know what a single was. We came in the game different. We came in the game releasing mixtapes. Remember, the Marvell FMs were full on 20-track mixtapes. And then they're like, we've got to take one of them and release a single. So our fans weren't used to singles from us. They was used to a body of work. They didn't care about one song. We're waiting for the... It's like Kendrick when he released Humble. When Kendrick released Humble, we was like, banger, but give us the album.
Yeah.
So we released We Know, that was our single, and then single didn't do good. It didn't even get into the top 200. I remember it flopped. I remember we had a show and we went to the show depressed because that was when we found out where we was in the charts. And then we got a call from the label. We got a call from the label. They called us in. Their energy was completely different. I'm cool with one of them now, though. Funny enough, everything's gone full circle. I'm actually working with one of the people that dropped us, like proper blessed guy. So I can tell at that time, it was just that stage of our lives. But we got called in. Their energy was completely different. They had a paper showing us all the stuff we spent and everything. Then they were telling us they're going to drop us on the label. They dropped us on the label. I took it really hard, though. And you know why I took it hard? Now I'm telling you about the options that I had. It was my only option. Even though it was the only option for Double S and Vertex too, but they was a bit different to me because Double S was Double S before Marvell. So he had the option of going solo to do his own thing. That was still an option. Vertex used to do directing. Vertex is a big director in the scene. He did Tinchy's mainstream money, Chipmunks, Oopsie Daisy, Chipmunks, Chip Diddy Chip. He did all of these videos, yeah. So he had the option of
Interesting. At that time as well.
Yeah. So he had the option of directing if anything goes wrong anyway. As for me, I never had the confidence to be a solo artist. That's why everything I'm doing now, Double just messaged me. That's why everything I'm doing now is mind-blowing because I never ever saw myself or had the confidence to step out as a solo artist. I've always been in groups. As I mentioned before, I was in the Chain Gang group, the Youngest Directors group, and then Marvell. And then I've always been like in a group. I've never been on my own. So I panicked and just thought, what am I going to do if Marvel thing's over? I can't go back to school. I can't work. Like, what am I going to do? So I spiraled into deep depression off the back of that. Ended up getting sectioned. I came home one day, exploded. They called the ambulance for me. I got sectioned. I got put in St. Anne's Hospital for 5 days. Came out from there. And then I never recovered from that. That was still a shell shock to me, that whole experience. I ended up getting sectioned a year later or 2 years later. I always say 2013 or 14. I said I'm not good with dates. Got sectioned a year later. Then got sectioned again in 2016. Got put in the mental health hospital again in 2016. And then I was like, nah, enough's enough. And then I always say the story all the time. A doctor said something to me about, I've been sectioned for so long. I've been sectioned a couple of times and I need to make sure that, you know, I got to do something. And that just inspired me. You know how we said certain people can say stuff that move you? That moved me because like, this is the doctor saying it. I think if anyone else had said that to me, I don't think it would have moved me like that. But because it was the doctor saying it, I was like, yo, he's right, because he sees patients come and go all the time. So he knows what he's talking about. So yeah, bro, I just went on this mad healing journey, and I just flipping tapped into my inner Marvel, tapped into my inner superhero, and just, you know, I'm here, bro.
Shocka, I like you've opened the topic, which is really, you know, it's really deep, man. I think. And for anyone listening, we're really getting into the real meat now, the real meat. And it's clear, you know, you've been on a real journey, man. I think that's something that I could tell from going through your discography and going through some of the content that you've put out, like the way you spoke in your TED Talk about self-love, and also the bars you dropped in between that period. Like, for example, your Fire in the Streets, because that was in the middle. That was in the middle of everything, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's when I got sectioned. Was that the third time I came out and just did the Fire? One of the two anyway. But I remember that Fire in the Streets was a real turning point, because that was when I first started talking about, because that whole bar was about being sectioned and like, do you know what I mean? The whole bar.
Yeah.
So that was when I first started having the confidence and accepting it, and like, that Fire. I'm glad you mentioned that. That was a big turning point, that Fire in the Streets.
Yeah, man. That was a really impactful, like, you went in, but at the same time I was like, damn, this is a lot, you know. This is
definitely.
this is a lot to experience and then share just casually, especially, well, not casually, but to share because of our community, and especially how our community relates or has classically related to mental health. It's not really been a thing that's recognized as much in our community. So then to be able to share that with that context as well is really powerful. And I would like to hear like a little bit more about that moment, because obviously you mentioned you were sectioned 3 times, and for someone on the outside looking in, just the thought of being sectioned once could feel like, you know, your life's over in a sense. Do you know what I mean? It could be something that really holds you down and that you hold in forever.
It was. The first 2 times were traumatizing as fuck.
Yeah,
the third
understandably.
Time, that's why I kept reading. It's just I couldn't get my mind around it, because like, I've got the African pride, and I think that's what was fucking me up, because it's like in my mind I was like, it can't be me. You know how Africans talk, it can't be me. How dare they? Like, that's what like my mind was saying, like, well, how can I get sectioned? I'm shopping for Marvel, I met Drake, I met the I did, and that doesn't, and that was that, and that whole process. But I learned so much life lessons throughout that process. I had to strip my ego away, and starting from rock bottom, and that's probably why I eased into when Kendrick was talking about human work, because it's like I was going through being human again throughout that whole phase. So when Kendrick
Yeah.
started talking about the human thing, that was like the icing on the whole experience I've been through. Maybe if I heard Kendrick before when I was in Marvell, I was in my heyday, I might have thought, look at this guy, man. What's he on about? Do you know what I mean? but like,
Yeah.
what's he on about? Like, but like everything happens when it's meant to at the perfect time. So when I heard it, it was perfect for me. And like, yeah. So that period I was really lost. I call it, it was the lost stage of my life. I was lost. I didn't know what I wasn't gonna. I was still contemplating if I was going to continue music. But as I said, I never had the confidence to like step out as a solo artist. If you notice, Double S and Vertex was on the social medias before me because I didn't feel like there was no need for me to come on socials. I didn't even know if anyone wanted to hear what I had to say. I jumped on Twitter late. I jumped on Twitter in 2014. I was looking at, because you know on Twitter, it says the date when people join. And I was looking at like all my peers when they joined, and I've noticed that I've seen Wretch 2009, Little Sims 2009, J. Cole 2009. But I joined in 2014. I mean, I thought I never. And then Instagram, I joined Instagram in 2016 when I came out of hospital. But like, so yeah, I missed out on that whole period just because I thought I never had nothing to offer. So like, everything I'm doing now is mind blowing to me.
I think something which will be pretty like insightful for people listening, because obviously everyone has their own battles, and I think that's what a lot of your music speaks to, and is giving people the tools to battle against. And so if you can, I'd be really curious to hear, like, because obviously you have this big moment where the doctor says those things to you, and it jolts you in that moment. But obviously, the part that a lot of people don't see is the day to day and
like what happened
slog,
after that moment. Like, where did we go? Yeah,
you still have to change the situation, and it doesn't change overnight. So in that period, what were you doing day to day that allowed you to then take this direction as a solo artist, as a human artist?
So in that period, I started looking for inspiration. I started asking myself, who has been through this situation? This is when I realized what I'm doing is really important, and that I'm actually a pioneer, that I'm really pioneering something. Because I asked myself, who's been sectioned 3 times in the grime scene? Because the grime scene is my point of reference. That's the scene I come from. Who's been sectioned 3 times before and came back and made it? And I realized there's no one that I know of. None. It's unheard of to be, because when you're sectioned, that means you're mentally not well. So how can you write lyrics? Do you know what I mean? Let alone come into music and make a career. So there's no one. So I thought, okay, let me check the hip hop scene in America. And I realized there's no one over there. Fuck, I'm stuck. Where am I going to start? So I said, you know what? Let me start with people that's lost everything and gained it back. Because I can relate to that too. Like, I lost Marvell, lost my girlfriend, lost my house, lost the record label. I can relate to that. So let me start with that, because maybe there's a lot of that. Then I found Iron Man. You know the guy that played Iron Man? I always forget his name. What's his name?
Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is his name.
Robert Downey Jr. So I heard about his story, about he was addicted to heroin. And he went to prison. And then he came out, and his friend was directing, his good friend was directing the Marvel movie. And he asked his friend, I'll get myself clean and I'll get myself in a better situation if you let me get a role in the movie. And his friend agreed. And then he went on this mad like journey and got himself proper fit for the movie. And then ended up killing it, and then ended up being the highest paid like Marvel actor, and then like turned everything around. So I started looking for like inspiring stories like Oprah, and Oprah getting turned down, and her getting raped at a young age and becoming Oprah. And I started looking at all these people that lost everything, and then it showed me how important reference points are. Like, having a point of reference is so important, and that is what gave me purpose, because I was like, okay, cool. I need to be the point of reference for the kid that's at home that's going to get sectioned, because, bruv, I'm not the last person to get sectioned. There's going to be many more, and there's going to be a kid at home that's going to go into YouTube and type mental health, and he's going to see my TED talk and see impact over numbers. And so what I'm doing now is just laying the blueprint for like the person that's coming after me, because there's no one ahead of me. There's no one that's done this before. I'm literally in uncharted territories. Like, I wake up every day and I'm creating new history. Like, I have no one to look at. There's no one from my scene that's been sectioned, and like, so everything I do is a first. That's why when you said to me, you're the first on my show, I'm like, that makes sense, because like, I'm probably the first to talk about what I'm going to talk about on your show. So it makes sense that I'm the first. I mean, I was the first to do like a TED party on TED Talk. I'm just first in that on these different things.
Mate.
So,
sorry to cut in, That TED Talk. That TED Talk. Do you know what spun me? Because while I was doing a lot of this research, I blazed just before I started digging in, which is why I think it also hit me even harder, because I'm in the mental space to really consume everything on a deeper level. So people need to watch this TED Talk, by the way. Just go and watch it. I'm going to ruin it slightly because I'm going to talk about what you did at the beginning.
Yeah.
But you know, at the beginning, it starts
I still don't know what
with
to do with that verse, you know? I don't know where to put it. I need to put it on a song, or I need to do something with it because it's powerful. If you've got any ideas of where I should put it, then I don't know.
I'll try and think of one, but I'm still getting over it because it bamboozled me when you started, because I'm like, all right, you're starting the talk. And then I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait, man's actually just spitting bars. Like, there was a moment where it clicked to my head where I'm like, wait, hold on, no. He's spitting. Oh, raw.
Yeah.
And it took me that there. I was like, nah, this is a level of artistry, a level of high artistry. Because I said to her,
when we sat down to go through my whole TED talk, I had that piece because I had that verse for a while. I didn't know what to do with it, where it should go. Maybe that's where it should go then. Maybe it should just be for the TED Talk piece. Do you know what I mean? Maybe if you want to hear it, do you know what I mean? Just go to the TED Talk and just that special piece. But I had it and I was like, I asked her, I said, could I come on stage and just, because it wasn't meant to be like that. I was meant to come on and just start talking. But I was like, nah, man, I wanna give them both sides, because they're gonna find out I'm an artist as well. And I'm not gonna get a chance to, you know what I mean? It's really show them what I do. Obviously I'm gonna perform self-love, but I want them to hear me, you know, bar.
Yeah.
So I told her, can I put this piece in the beginning? She said, yeah. And I was like, that's perfect. As soon as I walked on, I had my hand in my pocket, one hand in my pocket, walked out, and then took the pause. And then they say, when you love yourself, everything works. But when you don't love yourself, and it just went from there, bro. And I remember Sway was in the front row. You know Sway, the rapper.
Oh, Sway from So
remember
Solid?
Sway the Sappho? No, not from So Solid. He had a song called Flow Fashion. Remember, I don't know if you... Oh, do you remember Little Derek? Little Derek's doing okay.
Wait,
I don't know if you remember that song. Sway, man. He used to have a bandana around
Sway. What song is...
He used to wear like a British flag bandana around his mouth.
I'm trying to remember the Sway song.
You must have heard a Sway song.
That song that was on my old phone. I didn't listen to him like bears.
Religiously. Yeah.
I don't even know why I said So Solid. I think I'm thinking of
Swiss.
That's it. I got them two confused.
Sway was in the front row, and he was clapping, and like it was just epic, bro. It was an epic day.
Yeah. One of the other things I was gonna come on to is the fact that you also turned a TED Talk into a party, which is mad as well, by the way. Like, I was watching like, nah, this is not happening. And everyone's getting up, everyone's clap along, sing along to the tune. For somebody that is a bit of I'm a bit nervy around public speaking, admittedly, it's quite a difficult thing. How was that experience for you? Because you're going into an arena where everyone's expecting you to do one thing, and there's almost like a mode of how we do things in this arena, and you've come in and ripped it apart. Like,
I'm so happy you mentioned that. I remember, I always tell people this. I remember just before I was going on, they was counting me in. I've never had that before. It was like 10, 9, I was like, oh, it's like everything I've never had that before. Obviously, I do live performance. I just go on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and the next performance we have a Shocka, let's come out. But it was like counting me in, and I had the microphone here. Remember, I was talking with the but it was completely different. But I put in my 10,000 hours, and that's the beauty of putting in your 10,000 hours, because it prepares you for any situation. Don't forget, I've come from like pirate radio where like the mic's not working halfway through and I've had to adapt. Then I've come to like BBC One Extra where like, do you know what I mean? I've had so many twists and turns that like, there's nothing that could have happened that day that could have threw me off. Do you know what I mean? Like, and plus, that was elite level. So everything's working. My biggest fear would be like the mic cuts out halfway or like, but that was elite level. So I didn't have to worry about that. I mean, I was excited. I had a mic over here. Usually I'm holding one in my hand and there was one here. It was crystal clear. There was a mic on the stand for me. I felt at home. I couldn't wait to do it. I couldn't wait to do it. And plus, in my mind, I never knew how big a TED Talk was. It's only now that I'm like, oh my God, Bill Gates has got one and Seth Godin's got one. And them times, I had no idea. Like, I just thought, that's why I walked out so confidently. I don't think I could do the TED Talk I did then, now, today, knowing that what I know about TED Talk. There's no way. So, I look back at it and I'm like, I'm so happy I got that out of the way and I don't have to do that again. That's there sick. Now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, trust me.
No, I that's mad that you didn't have a clue, because I was watching like, he's probably seen all these videos and thought, I don't care who's done this TED Talk before. I'm coming in and doing my thing.
No, I'm only now catching up on TED Talks. Like Seth Godin's got my most favorite TED Talk ever. I think it's called How to Spread Ideas. It's incredible. I've watched it like 20 times. And I got to interview him. I don't know if you saw that.
I was gonna say I did see that. Yeah, I saw it a few weeks ago where you you spoke to him, because he's obviously in the marketing industry. He is
a legend. That's an iconic moment for me. Like, I can't believe it. Sometimes I just go back and watch the first 20 seconds just to gas myself up.
You know, just taking in the fact that, you know, you didn't have that awareness before going in. But sometimes you have that perfect, I guess, serendipity where you not knowing made you perform something super impactful.
Definitely.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie, like listening to it, and especially I guess where I'm at in my journey as well, like I can't lie, I shed a tear listening to some of the things you were talking about with self-love and like you were speaking it, and because of where I'm at in my life, it just resonated. Like, do you actually give love to yourself? Like the talk, the self-talk you're having inside.
That's real self-love. Not all these bubble baths and dinner dates and the real self-love is like, how do you talk to yourself? That's I always use this analogy of like, if you walked into a room, you yourself walked into a room and you sat next to yourself, would you say to yourself what you say to yourself? Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll probably be like, you'll probably get emotional when you see yourself. You'll be like, I know you. I know your deepest fears. I know your deepest secrets. I know everything you're going through, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you're meant to talk to yourself. That's how I look at it. That
is deep. That is
bro.
Deep.
Because people don't look at it like that, because we are ourselves and we don't. But if you take yourself outside yourself, that right, if I walked into a room now, into a party and I walked in, like, I will go over to myself and be like, yo, you good, bro? Like, because you know yourself, innit? So you know how to talk to yourself. You be like, bro, you're right. And when, like, you can't lie to me, bro. It's me. You know what I mean? Like, you know how to, like, comfort yourself. So that's how you got to talk to yourself, like that, with that respect. And then, like, shit gets real good. And that perspective came from a book called Louise Hay, which I mentioned in the TED Talk. I mean, I'm so pissed that I didn't get to meet her, because obviously she passed, but I would have loved to meet her, man. Like, she seems like someone that completely got it. But yeah, she made this book called You Can Heal Your Life. That was the first book that I stumbled across. And it just changed everything for me, because she, her mission was to get rid of shame and guilt. And that's the thing that I had a lot of at the time. I had a lot of shame and guilt. But then I realized that most human beings, that's what's holding all of us back. Once you can get rid of that, like, you're basically free. And that's what she did for me. She got rid of the shame and guilt and just showed me how you get rid of it by self-love. Does all of that. And I went on. That's how I went on that journey from there.
Just as you're talking about the book, because I'm just curious. Like, what was probably the like biggest actionable takeaway that you got from it? Like something that you can do every day that could improve your life dramatically.
Going through your belief systems, going through the things you believe. Because like, how old are you?
28.
You're 28, so like you've had 20 years of like cementing your belief systems into your mind. And the best way to change your belief system is pick a random subject and see what you believe about that subject. Or even better, pick areas in your life that you're winning and think about your belief systems to why you're winning in that area, and pick areas in your life where you're losing and then think about your belief systems to why you're losing in that area. So if you're not really good with women, think about, what do I believe? Oh, I know what I believe. I always believe that they're not going to like me. Then you got to get to the, or if you're really confident, then you got to think, what do I confident? Oh, I know why. I think I'm that guy. I remember I won football. I got this medal and that helped me believe that I'm the, and that's how you like go through your belief systems, and then you just change the ones that's not serving you, and you got to let it go, which is not easy to do. I made it sound so easy just now, but
yeah, like,
letting go is
pick it out and just tuck it away.
No. You can't just let go of a belief system that you've had for so long. That's why it's called belief system, because you believe it. But but when you realize that it doesn't serve you, that it's doing you more good than it's doing you more harm than good, then you're going to let it go. Because you haven't even analyzed the belief system in the first place, you've got no reason to let it go. You don't even know it's working against you. You don't even know it's there. It's only when you bring it to your awareness and you're like, oh shit, I do believe that. Like if you just say, write religion on a piece of paper, your mind's going to tell you everything you believe about religion. Where did I get that from? Why don't you don't even know where you got it from. You just picked it up along the way, and like different things that reinforced it. So you got to take that time out to like really go through all your belief systems. And that's what I did. And that's what really helped. And she helped me do that. She said this exercise of go into a mirror, say something about yourself, and wait to see what your mind says. So if you go into the mirror and say, I look really good today, give it a second, your mind, your subconscious is going to say, no, you don't. And then she says, don't get angry at that thought. Say thank you for showing me that, because you just revealed to what's been hiding in my subconscious all this time. This is how I feel. So thank you for showing me that. And then change the belief or get to the bottom of it. Why did you just say that? When I said I look good, why did you say I don't look good? Where did that come from? And your mind will tell you, it'll show you a picture of like primary school or secondary school, or the girl that made that cheeky comment about you that you kept and it affected you, and all these things. And then just change the belief, because we're not supposed to feel that way. So that's how you know you're out of alignment, when you're feeling that way in the first place, because you're not supposed to. So that's a sign anyway. When you're feeling a bit, that's a sign that, okay, I believe in something that I'm not supposed to believe, because I'm meant to feel empowered. We're supposed to feel like good. That's why it feels good to feel good, because we're meant to feel good, if that makes sense. So that's how you do it.
Like logically, it makes a lot of sense, bro. Like I watch a lot of this guy called Gary V, if you know him.
That's my guy, man.
Oh yes,
that's my guy. He actually sent one of his assistants to email me, but nothing happened from it. But not email me, sorry. It was an Instagram DM. And I always go back to the DM just to make myself feel a bit saucy, bro. Like, the DM, I'll show it to you. I'll send it to you after this on Instagram. Yeah. The DM says Shocka Gary V, and then my first message is, this can't be real. And then the woman's like, yep, Shocka, it's real. And I always read that. Like, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But nothing materialized from it. But it just showed me that you never know whose radar you're on.
Who's watching.
That
guy is watching, fam.
Because when I asked her how he found me, she said he's got a thing where he analyzes people's pages that's got verified ticks, and he goes through their content and sees if, he likes them or if they're in line with what he does. And I was just like, you just never know, bro. You never know who's watching.
Impact,
and he's my guy.
He's another one who talks a lot about legacy, impact over the numbers, and
definitely
and that kind of thing. Man, I had a point that I was gonna raise about him.
Yeah, you just said something about Gary V.
but I'm now forgetting where I was going with it. I'm forgetting. Okay.
It'll come back to you.
What were we talking about? I'm trying to remember. So you were saying about it's gone.
I said so much.
It's gone. It's gone. I really wanted to make.
I got it. You were saying to me, logically, it makes sense.
Right. So logically, yes. Logically,
I got you.
Yeah. Thank you, my guy. Thank you. Logically, it makes sense for us to feel good because I've been watching a lot of Gary Vee stuff, and one of the things he says is, "Yo, we won the lottery. 400 trillion to 1 is the chances
exactly.
of us actually existing as human beings."
Exactly. So
on a logical level, everyone should be gassed.
Exactly.
Everyone should be gassed logically.
Exactly. So translation, in basic English terms, Gary Vee is saying that you've won already. Like just being here, like just touching your foot on earth soil, you won. Forget about the outcome. You won. You got picked. You know what I mean? Like you got picked. Like the creator said, I need Dami to be a part of this. Like do you know what I mean? Like he's got the smile, the attribute, the looks, his personality. Like he's gonna start a podcast that's gonna have Shocka on it. That's gonna help this. But like do you know what I mean? So we won. We won already. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah, for real. But I guess a lot of the darkness still is I guess takes control in a lot of moments for a lot of us.
Because we forget that perspective.
Yeah.
Because that's why that perspective is there to remind us. That Gary Vee video should be in primary schools. It should be in every school around the world. That is a perspective that should be taught to us from young. That's the first thing they should say to us. Right, guys, today we want to let you know that you won the lottery. Lottery? What do you mean lottery? What's lottery? You won the lottery of life, the fact that you're here. That should be instilled. You know what I mean? That should be something that's
indoctrinated in everyone.
Yeah, imagine that was like instilled in us from like young. Like imagine how you walk the earth after that. You know what I mean? You're going to be walking with a spring in your step. Whereas like what does get instilled in us is like, oh, you never got the full marks in your test, so you failed and you this one. And that's why there's different people walking around confident. This one's walking around confident. That one's walking around not confident because they both had different like reinforcements to why they should be confident or not. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like, if it got instilled in everyone that we've all won the lottery, then that probably could eradicate jealousy and envy because like, you're always going to remind yourself like, nah, even though he's got that, I'm going to get good things too because I won the lottery the same way he won the lottery. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
For real, man. I think for people listening, if this is hitting you in any kind of way, I would say scratch that itch and really go discover like the power that's within and understanding the extreme luck that we have in being here and the fortune. Even luck is not even the word, the fortune. And how fortune. Good it is to have that fortune. This is also some self-talk for me when I listen back to this. Sometimes you need that shit in it. Sometimes you listen back to yourself and you're like, right, I said that. Yeah, I need to listen to him more because he's spitting some real shit.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're coming towards the end of the pod, bro. And this is actually something which has been a running theme across the podcast, actually. And it's to do with, I guess, lifestyle and something that I've considered before. When talking to friends about the aims that we have in life and what we want to do legacy-wise and creatively and what we want to produce for the world. And ultimately something that can come along with that, which is being well-known, being famous, being somebody that other people want to get the attention of. And, you know, I've really had interesting convos with my friends about the good and the bad sides of that way of living. And I think I had a conversation with Xylon. Shout out Xylon. If I haven't shouted you out already. He was telling me that he was at Carnival with you one time.
Yeah,
and
nuts.
Like basically every couple of minutes,
Yeah,
someone's stopping you and saying, "Yo, Shocka, love your music," taking a picture and that kind of thing. And he said, at first it was like, "Rah, this is sick."
yeah,
And then after a while, it's like, "Oh, that just keeps happening." Rah.
yeah, yeah.
How do you deal with that? Because obviously for someone like me, I walk the world knowing that most people don't know who I am. And in some ways, in most ways, in all ways, really, I quite like the anonymity. But then at the same time, I understand that the more that I put myself out there, the more that I'm increasing. It might not be a high likelihood, but by doing stuff like this, I'm increasing the likelihood that somebody that doesn't know me starts to see me and recognize me and that kind of thing. So for you who's there already at a point where people can see you on the street and know who you are, how does that feel? How does it interfere with your life? Do you love it? What's that like?
I think it depends on the settings where you are. It depends. When you're in a setting like Carnival, you love it because it's Carnival. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I don't get recognized at Carnival, where most of my supporters are going to be, like, what's going on? Like, what am I doing wrong? It's Carnival. You want to get recognized there. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, when it's like 12 midnight and you're coming home from somewhere and it's scary and it's nighttime and you've got 3 boys looking at you while you're at the train station and you don't know what it is. Like, are they looking at me because that's when it gets like scary. Do you know what I mean? I saw J.K. Rowling's. I've been watching a lot of J.K. Rowling's interviews. She's a G. I don't know if you got into her story or like you've really done research on her, but you should really. She's actually an interesting character.
Yeah,
she's a G.
That's bro. We're doing this full circle thing the whole way through the podcast because me and my housemate had a really in-depth conversation about the rise of J.K. Rowling and he
honestly
was telling me about her story and talking about things like, you know, how people start turning up at the yard, at her dad's yard, and paparazzi and all this shit just happened. But anyway, sorry, you were on that.
So I was watching one of her interviews, and she was saying something about why would you want a random stranger to walk up to you anyway? It's like it's anxiety. You're asking for an anxiety attack, and it's true. Like if someone just randomly just kept walking up to you or following you around, that shit's scary. So it's like. It's got its pros and cons. It's got its pros, as in, where was I? I went to a rave on Saturday. Yeah. And there was a long queue. It was in Shoreditch. There was a long queue. And my DJ went up to the guy that was letting people in and said that I'm verified and we're from One Extra and everything. And they let us in and we got in for free. And like, so that kind of stuff, like, that's sick. That's it.
Little flex.
I was like, I don't even use my blue tick. Like you can, I was like, so that's what I got it for. I was like, so that's what I got it for. So you can do stuff. I was like, bro, I rarely say the word.
You didn't know that? You didn't know that before?
I had no idea, bro. I had no idea. It's just, my blue tick's just sitting there and I'm like, what's the purpose? Like what? What does it do? Like, can you swipe up? Like, what does it actually do? I don't understand. What does it really do? What's it for? What is it for anyway? Do you know?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously it is just a blue tick. But I think as humans, we assign value to certain things, and the amount of currency and validation and importance that we've assigned to a blue tick. I mean, in part, like it's real because it's a validation of the work you've put in, right? In some way. But at the end, but then sometimes I guess you have to ask: is it the full value of somebody?
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
I don't understand. Obviously,
but anyway,
now I'm seeing it does something because we got into the club for free. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but it has real world consequences. Yeah, it has real world consequences. Yeah,
but prior to that, it was like, bro, it was just sitting there. Like, I don't understand. Like, it does. I don't know. But So it's got pros and cons. Pros and cons. But don't forget, there's levels of fame as well. I'm on a low level. Like I get noticed like here and there. It depends where I go. I can go somewhere where it's really big because my, target audience is in there, and I can go somewhere where like one person stops me or like, so it's here and there. But when you get to like Kanye level or Jay-Z level, then you got to talk to them and see what they say about it because they're extremely famous. They're famous in different countries. I can't even imagine what that's like. You know what I mean? Like they step out the plane in the UK and like, that's crazy.
Everyone's just on you.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, the reason why that will get to me as well is because I'm a real introverted person. So it's like, one of the things that you lose when you become famous is that you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
I could meet someone and they're recording me on their phone or like they've got me on loudspeaker or, do you know what I mean? You just never know. And that will do my head in because like I FaceTime my friends sometimes and when they've got people in the background, I say, let me call you later. Just for the fact I don't want them to like eavesdrop in our conversation. So imagine like when you're famous, like you have like when Cardi B called her album, what was it called? Invasion of Privacy or something like that, her debut album. That makes sense. Like, I get it. Like I saw she gave birth and someone took a picture in the hospital. Like she was there with her legs open and obviously you can't see.
What the fuck?
Now that you couldn't see what her private parts, but like someone took a picture while it was nuts. And that could have been from a nurse's perspective. But yeah, bro, like fame is ridiculous.
Yeah. I think it's that invasion of privacy, which is the dark side of it, because it seems lit. It seems lit. But I think
so it depends. It depends on the character you are too. Because some people are built for fame. I mean, there's some people that can't wait. Like they're built for it. And then like there's some people that's like proper like introverted. And like Eminem. Like Eminem seems like a person where like you don't see him. Like you rarely see him. Do you know what I mean? Or like Kendrick, bro. Like we ain't seen Kendrick in 5 years.
He just
disappears. So it depends. It depends on your character. If fame works in your favor or not.
Yeah. I guess it is maybe partially driven by the person, unless you have, because obviously when you look at examples like J.K. Rowling, she didn't ask to blow that level.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
That was just a perfect storm of events that meant she became wildly famous.
Yes,
but
exactly.
But I feel like for most people's journeys, when they don't have that massive mushroom moment, this is just my perspective on it. I feel like you would intentionally be pushing to get to that level of fame if you're moving slowly.
Like as an artist, we're anticipating it anyway because we know that's what comes with what we do. Whereas like book authors ain't anticipating it. Like J.K. Rowling is an anomaly anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like book authors ain't like famous. Obviously they are famous book authors, but you know what I mean though? They don't get, it's not like that. So like she's like she's like a rock star book author. Do you know what I mean? So she completely changed the game. And that's why I was watching her interviews anyway, because I've been studying like pioneers and that, like people that's like the first in their field to do what they're doing. Hence why I was telling you what I was telling you before. So I've been like looking at like J.K. Rowling and like who else have I been studying? Like Seth Godin and like just people that, just so many people in different fields that like were the first to like step out and do what they're doing. I just like hearing their stories and just seeing like how it came together for them. Like it's proper inspiring.
Yeah, I guess for you as well, like you were saying that's the natural, because it's the natural lane that you found for yourself after realizing, okay, there's no one who's been in my situation and done what I've done. It's good to the reference points, as you were saying, man.
Definitely.
Reference points. So another thing that I was curious about, and I guess want to understand how you manage it, is obviously the work that you put out is very public, as we were just saying, and it's also very personal and heartfelt too. It's not like you're just, working a specific type of job which has a certain outcome and then you can just like leave it and you can almost detach from the work that you've put out. the work you're putting out is very personal, very close to home, very from the heart. How do you navigate your mental health, especially in an age like today where feedback is so quick and fast, as opposed to probably when you got signed 10, 11 years ago, where there wasn't that same excess of feedback? How do you manage that and still be able to put those creations out and, you know, get so many people feeding back on what you're putting out, and navigating your mental health in that dynamic?
I think I'm at the stage now where it's love. I'm the underdog again, so it's just love. I receive so much love, but I'm so grateful for it. So I don't know how I'm going to react when the hate comes yet, because I haven't experienced that. But I've got a good perspective to prepare me, because I already know that when people start hating on what you're doing, it means you're elevating. So like that's the perspective I'm ready to have when it does start happening. Because people don't hate on something that's not great. Why would you? Do you know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you went to your friend and told him like, and said you hated on something that wasn't at a certain level? Like, you only hate on something that's like something you want to do. You know what I mean? That's why you're hating on it, really. So when the hate comes in, you know you're popping. So that's the perspective I'm going to have. But I haven't got that yet. I'm still at the love stage. Like, everyone's like, oh, Shocka, yeah, check his TED Talk out. Yeah, I love. I'm still at that stage. When my life starts really changing and people are like, Shocka's leaving us. Like, I don't like the direction he's going in. Then we'll see how I handle it. But yeah, for now, it's just been love. It's just been mad love. So it hasn't been really hard on that end in terms of the feedback I'm getting in. But in terms of what you're saying about being really open with the music, it's like, I feel like I'm having a therapy session, but with the door open and everyone can listen. That's what it feels like. Yeah. Because when I go studios, it's me and my engineer. I'm a proper introverted recorder. Like, double is the complete opposite to me. If you go into a double S studio session, there is weed, there's drinks, there's like 4 or 5 people. It's like, yes, it's a vibe. Whereas my studio sessions are like just me and the engineer. Because what I'm saying is so personal. And if I'm going to bring someone to listen to this, like, you got to be someone I really fuck with. And like, so it's just me and the engineer. And yeah, bro, it's that proper like intimate session. So
that's really interesting, you know, because obviously you perform live, which is its own thing.
But that's why I said
it's the same thing.
That's why I said it's a therapy session with the world listening. Because after I've done the therapy session with me and my engineer, now the world gets to listen to it when I do the live performances.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Very, very interesting. Because I'm similar with the little studio sessions I've done. Can only be my close brethren in there.
Yeah.
It's difficult otherwise, man. It's difficult otherwise. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And even like Double S having a party vibe in there.
Which makes sense. Which makes sense for the music he makes, because the music he makes is more upbeat and skippy, and so it makes sense for him to have that kind of energy. Whereas like, it wouldn't make sense for me to have 20, 30 people while I'm making a song called Fighting My Vices that's about like porn addictions or like, do you know what I mean? Why sweating? Like, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. So it don't make sense.
Yeah, come out of the booth to a crestfallen room, boy.
Yeah, like, and I've had that before. I've come out the booth and like, I'm looking at the person and they're looking at me like, I had no idea that he was going through that. Like, he was so happy, and then you go into the booth and then all of that comes out. Like, where did that come from? So because I feel like everyone's got a good side. No, everyone's got a light side and a dark side. Whereas my dark side gets expressed through music, and then in reality, I get to be my light side. So I can talk to you, I can smile, we can bust jokes. Some people don't have a place to express their dark side, so it gets expressed in reality. Like, you see them with a screw face and like upset because they don't have a place to offload it. And that would have been me. If I didn't have music, I probably would be like sitting here down, and they're like, why are you down? And I can't hide it from you because I can't offload it. Whereas now, even if I'm down now, I know like I can find a beat, write a song and get it out through a song and just get that out of me. So it allows me to be happy and upbeat, because stuff doesn't get stored into me. Like, it always comes out like immediately. Like you see the freestyles I do on Instagram, like that's the beauty of social media. I've got access to like just get it out of me like immediately.
Yeah, man. I feel that, because part of my own personal like early journey with music, bro, if I'm being honest, I was in a really shit living situation. Like life was not great, and I was just spitting just to get
release.
like express and release, man. So I feel you. It's a really powerful vehicle, even just for that. Not even trying to get people listening to me and, you know, people loving my shit. It's just, this is my place to just let go and feel like, it's funny as well, because I'm thinking back now, like I had a session with Xylon a few months ago, and there was a moment in the session where I just felt bare close to everyone in there. And now, like, the song that he made in there, I listen to it and it just takes me to that moment. I couldn't care what numbers it does, or I don't care. I just listen to it and I'm like, this is a piece of the tapestry of our lives, at least like our network of friends, and that's the powerful thing that expressing yourself can do, man.
Definitely.
So I'm coming towards the end, and I know you mentioned, you mentioned a lot of like how you see yourself and your legacy, and what you want to leave, the feelings that you want to leave with people on the earth, and essentially your manifesto for Shocka, right?
Yeah.
In I guess in real terms, what are the things that you're looking to do, like tangibly, that would build towards creating that legacy for yourself?
I'm not sure I've got the answers to the ideas I want to do, but someone out there does. But my music, I want it to be the trigger that triggers that answer from them, if you know what I mean. So maybe I want to change the mental health system, but I don't have the idea to do it. But someone that probably ain't even born yet might hear my self-love song and then have an idea to like change the staff in a certain way and make them love the patients. And do you know what I mean? He might change the system of my song. I want my song to be, that's what I said about ripple effect. I want my music to be triggers for like all the people that's meant to do something in a positive way. I want my music to trigger those ideas out of them. I want them to hear an interview of mine or a song of mine, and it just makes them, I don't know what's going to happen. That's the magic part. That's the part I don't know yet. But it's going to trigger like some sort of thing out of them. Like Martin Luther King, Stevie Wonder, that happy birthday to you. That was a song he wrote for Martin Luther King's birthday.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that was like, I think he even says it in the song. If you go and listen to it on YouTube, he says Martin Luther King. He says something in there. So like, he wrote that for Martin Luther King's birthday, and now that's become all of our songs. So we've all benefited from it. So whatever life Martin Luther King was living triggered Stevie Wonder to make that song that's now helped all of us. And that's the ripple effect I'm talking about. So I want my single mother song to trigger someone like 50 years from now, 100 years from now. To start a single mother's campaign that like, do you know what I mean? Something sick. I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to be alive to see it. God bless if I'm alive to see it. If I'm not, I don't know. But that's the intentions I have. Like, I want those kind of ripple effects. Like Nipsey with The Marathon Continues. I don't think he had an idea that like we was going to embody like his philosophy the way we have. Like that's become our mantra now. Like everyone says that. Like, don't worry about it. Or The Marathon Continues. I think he knew what it meant, but I don't think he knew like it was going to live on. It's going to live on. Yeah. So like,
that's how many people would live by that philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm at, bro. That's where I'm at.
No, that's real, man. And I feel that already. Like in the short time that I've been taking your content in. I've been blown away. Can't lie.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can really say, man.
That's it.
And on a personal level, I'm really looking forward to listening to more of your music, getting deeper into your discography, like listening to your EPs.
So what
really
have you heard?
Deep in it.
What have you heard so far? So I know where you're at.
So I've heard obviously Self Love.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Single Mothers from the Conscious Crud EP. I've heard The Fire in the Booth, The Fire in the Streets.
Yeah.
Watch Your TED Talk.
Yeah.
I think I listened to a couple.
You've heard Impact Over Numbers, right?
I think I've heard a couple tracks in Impact Over Numbers.
Oh,
so I haven't got deep yet. But in the little,
no, but you're good though. You're that's enough. You've covered a lot of ground. I think you've only got Impact Over Numbers to cover from top to bottom. Then you've got the prelim to cover. I dropped an EP like in May called the prelim. Then you've got the Shocka Sundays. I don't know if you've been in tune with the Shocka Sundays I've been doing. Every 2 week Sundays.
I don't think I've been.
Yeah, bro. You got the Shocka Sundays to catch up on. Then my album, which no one has heard yet, and then I've been listening to it every day though. Like every day I've been listening to my album. Like it's called Vulnerability is the New Cool. I can share that. I can give you the title. It's called Vulnerability is the New Cool, and bro, I've 16 tracks, and I can't wait for the world to hear it.
When are you looking to drop it?
Next year. I don't know when, but next year sometime.
Okay. Bro, I'm definitely looking out for that, man. I'm there. As soon as it drops, I'm like, okay, earphones in, let's take it in. Because the way I like to listen to music, and I think you could probably tell because you're also a Kendrick fan too. Yeah, got to sit with it for a minute, especially the bodies of work. You got to listen to that again and again and again, and really start breaking it down piece by piece. And I feel like I feel like we're on the same vibe in that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
With how we like.
And I've got
music.
I've got a show I'm doing December 1st. It's an intimate show, 60, 70, 80 people. So if you and Zana want to come down to that would be sick. It's gonna be dope. I'm gonna be performing like songs from like everything from all of the catalog. So yeah, bro, that's gonna be sick. Yeah.
Can't lie, I also took in the one take that you did with Double S because that was hard.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, you two are moving mad on that. The back to back, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
The chemistry is nuts.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah, man. I'm excited to really dive in. So and I think once I do, I'd love to have a convo with you about the album, the actual work itself as well, man. Yeah, so, definitely. Shocka, I just want to say thank you for jumping on the podcast. It's been a really sick one, and it was good. I feel like people listening are gonna get a lot of value from that, whether they're in a place of ascendancy or they're at a really low place, because your story in and of itself is inspirational. Whether you were doing music or any other lane in life, the fact that you've been in the situation you've been in and come out the other side in light is amazing, because I feel like a lot of people would hear of those kind of situations and feel, like I was saying earlier, that it's almost impossible. So the fact that you've carved that path out and given people a reference point to go from is powerful. So thank you for being a reference point in my life, in my podcast, in this stage of the universe. So appreciate that, man.
Definitely, my G. But Dami, thanks for having me. Sorry about the calls and shit, but
it's cool, man. It happens, and that's what the post-production process is about.
But album. I look forward to talking to you for that album. I look forward to seeing you in December 1st if you do come down.
Definitely.
And thank you for being on this journey. And I hope to make this exciting and as educational and informal as possible, as I can make this whole journey. And then I hope I inspire you to go and make your ripple effects, and because you're going to touch people that I'm never going to meet. You've met people I'm never going to meet ever already, so you've got a chance to touch a whole another side of the world that I'm never going to meet. So, yeah, man, I'm rooting for you, my GG.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. And I'm looking forward to coming to the show in December. I'm gonna tell Darius about it afterwards. Like, bro.
Yeah. Let's get it.
For the people listening, and that now want to follow your journey, if you could just give them a little shout out for where they can find you. And
I'm happy you said that because I never do that. I had a show yesterday and I missed out on like saying my Instagram. So it's Shocka_artist. Shocka_artist, SHOCKA_artist on Instagram and on Twitter. And yeah, bro, those are the main places to find me.
Brilliant. Thanks again for being on the podcast, Shocka. And for everyone listening, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.